Hello, everybody. My name is Caesar.
And I'm Martha.
Welcome to the never remember this 45th episode.
45th? Jesus.
Yes, you didn't even know it.
I thought it was the 44th episode. Not
No,
gonna lie.
45th episode of Inner Screen Where.
Two idiots who know nothing about movies talk about movies.
Before we get into today's episode, make sure if y'all haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Also subscribe to the audio channels as well on Spotify and all that. Leave a review. We haven't gotten one yet, so like if y'all want to leave a review, you can do that.
Wow. Y'all just hate us. But if you hate us, tell us.
Exactly. If you hate us so much, let us know. Any
let
review
us know.
is better.
We want to see it. Yeah.
All press is good press. So
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, as you can see today, we have a very special guest with us, making his Inner Screen debut. Hector, what's up, man?
Hello, guys. Really happy to be here. It's an honor.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that happy.
No, you're happy now. Wait till we're done.
Yeah.
Okay, before I ask you a little bit, Hector, about some stuff, just wanted to go ahead to open this question up to both of y'all. Y'all can both try to answer this question.
Ooh, it is.
So here's Martha's little
time
riddle.
for riddles.
Yes. What do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common?
What do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common?
They both speak.
They were both in a gruesome war.
What war was Winnie the Pooh in? The war for his honey?
Okay, wait, no, actually there is history behind that. No, Winnie the Pooh, actually, like, the character came from a bear that some soldiers found during a very gruesome war. So technically, Winnie the Pooh is from a very gruesome war.
How do you know that?
Yeah, I don't. She'll just come in with the most random, irrelevant bits of knowledge. But
it's a true story.
It's impressive, though.
It is impressive. It's just it's not what we need right now. But like it's still like I commend you. Anywho, so yeah, do y'all have a final guess?
No, you got me.
I'm sticking with they were both in a gruesome war.
So what they have in common is their middle names.
The?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh my God. That's
not.
great. No.
That would be like
really
the
good.
conjunction
Thank you.
in their title. Like, that doesn't
Martha.
count.
It does count. You had a legit look of stumped on your face, so that counts. Anywho,
man.
So Hector, that's the kind of thing you're gonna see on this show. So,
I know about your riddles, and I don't know how you like come up with them. Like, do you like?
He
look
doesn't.
them
He's
up?
not smart enough. He gets
I'm
them
not
off the
smart enough.
internet.
I find them on the internet. I'm not even gonna give my guys credit for that.
Yeah,
But I go
don't-
through them. I'm like, if this one's like lame, I won't do. I mean, sometimes they are lame. That's kind of what makes it fun. But I figure those ones. I'm like, I haven't heard those, so let's just try that.
Yeah,
don't
absolutely.
ever give
And-
Caesar enough credit. Like, cause he
Not for
he
anything,
doesn't deserve it. He's useless, man. So
Right.
Anyway.
It's not like this whole podcast would literally not happen if it wasn't for me asking you
yeah,
to
okay,
do it.
yeah, but I'm like the face here, so like, come on now.
Anyway, so Hector, like you said, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I was just gonna ask. So how did you and Martha meet, first of all? Because I know you and I think we had a class maybe in high school, but we didn't really talk much. But I know you and Martha have been friends for a little bit.
We've been besties.
So my point of view, right? I'll give my side of the story because Martha's side might be a little bit different. But so I think it was just having friends in common, right? I don't think we ever really had a class together that. I don't remember us having a class, but we had a common friend, and through that common friend, we met up after school, hung out, had a little circle of friends that we just hung out until the bus arrived, and it's pretty much how we met. And like, we didn't really talk much outside of that until a few years ago in college, and that's when we like started hanging out more and just talking a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, it was through a mutual friend is how we originally met, and that was like freshman year of high school, I think.
It's a long time.
So it's been a while, but you were wrong in one aspect. We did hang out one time outside of school.
That's right.
It was the four of us, all right, and we went to the movies. But funny thing is,
Do I know this story?
I don't think you do. So we're all like, okay. So it was, for context, it's me, Brianna, who you guys know, she's been on the show before, Hector, and then our friend Andreas. And me, Andreas, and Brianna all were like, yeah, let's go to the movies. And Hector was like, oh, I don't know, guys. I have, like, a family thing to do today. And we're like, oh, man, like, that's okay. We'll go next time together. So we go to the movies. Guess who's there?
Hector with his family.
Mr. Hector. At the same theater as we are.
What can I
So he ends
say?
up just moving and sitting next to us, even though he went with his family.
Was
We're
it
like,
the same movie?
okay. Yeah, same movie and
Yeah.
everything.
Oh my god. What movie was it?
It was Secret Life of Pets.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, now we
yeah,
know to
so-
have. Now, I think for that, we're going to have 2 guests on then, it seems like.
Oh, yeah,
To be
we gotta
fair,
have
though,
Andreas
like,
also.
to be fair, I already had my tickets and everything by the time you guys called me. And then you're like, let's go see some movie. And I don't think you guys specified which movie, or maybe
No.
you did, but, you know.
Because if they did, you could have just been like, yeah, I'll be there, just not with
Exactly.
you.
Just not with y'all.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Okay.
So-
So that was the only time y'all actually hung out.
outside. I mean, now we hang out often. Our
Well, at the
friend
time,
group,
yes.
but like,
Mm-hmm.
but before, yeah, that was like the only time in high school that we all met
Got
up
you.
outside and hung out.
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure there might have been one time, like, mini golfing or something.
Oh well, no, that was
yeah.
after high school, I think.
Was that after? Maybe. Maybe.
Well, that was still more times than Martha and I hung out outside of school because she didn't
Oh.
want to be around me
Did
whatsoever.
not want anything to do with you.
Yeah, so
Still
still don't. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. For context, guys, you guys would be like, oh, you know what? I bet that Martha and Caesar outside this podcast, besties. No, I see him once a week, and that is too often. Like, I can't do it.
Sometimes it
more than that.
might like literally be for like 30 minutes. Sometimes it might be like a
Yeah.
5-minute ching on the bus, and that's it. Like we just don't even.
That's it.
And then we
Yeah.
come for this. We're like, oh, we're doing
And-
this again.
And half the time, I'm
Sure.
trying to like throw him outside of the bus.
Right.
So,
You've been mildly successful sometimes. Like I'm like hanging off, but you know.
Yeah, but he still hangs on, unfortunately.
And then actually, the only other thing I wanted to ask you was just like kind of like, what's your taste in movies? Like, how did you like if you do you watch a lot of movies, or like if you do, what do you like to watch? Like,
And keep
What's that
in mind
like?
there are
Okay.
wrong answers. So
There are wrong answers for you, Martha, but not for the audience or
No, no.
everyone
No.
else.
not for
No.
anyone with a brain, no.
hey, I got big brain.
Okay, so for movies, right? I do watch a lot of movies. I consider myself to be pretty into them, and I just love movies that really immerse you
Yeah.
and like make you feel like there's a whole world out there, right? And I like movies that make you think. I know, like that this movie we're covering today
Oh, yeah.
is quite of
sure.
a mind bender. Like,
Yeah. Literally.
literally. And I just like movies that have a lot of action, have a lot of thinking behind them. You know, I'm really into anything that, you know, surprises me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's definitely the perfect example of like you said, what we picked today, which I was really
Oh,
glad was on your list.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But well, before we get into that list, real quick, Martha, I don't think it's been a full week since we last did our last episode because we've been off our schedule.
yeah.
But have you watched anything recently that you wanted to shout out?
No, I have not.
At all?
Except for this movie.
Which you crammed this in like last minute.
I literally finished watching this like maybe an hour ago.
That's how we always do it. Hector, out of curiosity, how long ago did you finish watching this?
I watched it, so I started last night around 10, then I stopped, and then I started this morning, and I finished it around 1.
Okay,
then
that's
I
still
started
earlier
taking
than
my
we've ever.
notes.
Still earlier than we've ever been.
Yeah, I was
just
at work
curious.
watching it, so. I was
Nice.
Oh,
like-
yeah.
So you weren't giving this your full undivided attention?
No, I wasn't giving work full.
Oh,
undivided
okay, that's
attention,
better. That's
so-
better. Okay. Well, real quick, I forgot that I watched Turning Red finally. Martha, I meant to tell you.
What did you think?
I thought it was pretty good. I really liked it.
Sick.
Very cool. Definitely some parallels to you, which is why I get why your family's like you. But-
Yeah. Yeah. Stop.
no.
Stop pointing out awkward girls.
Yes. No, it was cute. I liked it a lot. That's about all I watched too. Did you watch anything, Hector, this week? Just asking.
I watched Dune again
Oh.
because I love that movie. That
Yeah.
movie is so beautiful and like so much lore, and it just has a really great story in my opinion.
Okay.
which you guys should cover that movie if you guys
Oh,
haven't already.
we definitely want to soon, and
Yeah,
if we
'cause
do, we'll
I-
definitely have you on for that because
Yeah,
I
and
can
that's
feel
the
your
only way
passion.
I'm gonna watch the movie because I keep
Awesome.
forgetting.
And Martha still hasn't seen it, so that's
Oh, what? Come on.
so that'll be perfect. And then I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters, so I would definitely.
Mhm.
It's on HBO already,
Yeah.
right?
It's on HBO. That's
Okay.
how I saw it. Yeah.
Cool.
Ooh, good to know.
It's perfect.
All right. Well, you know what else is on HBO this week? Is the movie we're talking about today. Actually, you can't even see
Right.
Leo. My bad.
Come on now.
This week we are talking about Inception. Per request, Hector, I'm very happy you want to talk about this movie because this is one of my favorite movies. I freaking love this thing. So I was very excited to talk about it. And then for Martha, this was your first ever watch.
This was a movie on my list of movies that are like very important movies to watch. I just never got around to doing it.
Of course you didn't. Of course you didn't.
So expectations going into it, I was like, I'm not gonna understand a thing, and surprisingly, I came out understanding it. Like it was easier to follow than I thought it was gonna be, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Okay. Well, before we get into your full opinion, let me just introduce the film real quick. So this is written and directed by Christopher Nolan. This is actually the second Nolan film we've talked about outside of Interstellar. And so like he's also done Memento, Insomnia, Dark Knight trilogy, and then obviously Dunkirk, Tenet. His next movie is called Oppenheimer, and it has crazy fucking cast. Too many names. I'm not even gonna mention. This has Leonardo DiCaprio, Ken Watanabe, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion Cotillard, Elliot Page, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Tom Berenger, Michael Caine. Sir, I think he's a Sir Michael Caine. I don't know. Released July 16th. Yeah, good. Released July 16th, 2010. It's crazy. This is almost 12 years old. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
$160 million to make, and it made $837 million worldwide. And at the 83rd Oscars, it won for Best Cinematography, Visual Effects, Sound Editing, and Sound Mixing, and it was nominated for Best Picture, Original Screenplay, Original Score, and Production Design. I don't know if you noticed, it did not get a nomination for Best Director, which is very weird. It felt like Dune this year, actually, I noticed. Like, Dune got a lot of nominations, but not Director, which was very strange. I don't
It's very
understand.
strange. That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. On Rotten Tomatoes, this has with critics 87% approval and 91% audiences, so that's good. And the synopsis reads, Cobb. That's it.
That's it. Corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob. Is that how we're gonna call his character?
Yes.
Cobb. He goes
Nice.
by Dom or Cobb. So, but yeah, Cobb.
Right.
Corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob.
Cobb, a skilled thief who commits corporate espionage by infiltrating the subconscious of his targets, is offered a chance to regain his old life as payment for a task considered to be impossible. Inception, the implantation of another person's idea into a target's subconscious. That was a little bit of a mouthful, but very accurate, I would say.
But I would like to make clear that their definition of Inception is made up, and they just took a word that already exists and tried to give it a different meaning. But
I literally do not know what you're
anyway,
talking about. Is that not
the-
the definition of what that
Inception?
means? Yeah.
No, the Inception is the start of something.
Well, the Inception in this movie is not that.
It's a
Exactly,
different
that's what I'm
world,
saying.
so-
They
Different
took
meaning,
a word that already exists and changed it and gave it a new definition.
Okay, so I am judging that you hated this movie because you're already nitpicking it right off the bat.
No. Okay.
Come on, Martha. Come on.
But now I'm very curious now. So Martha, your first time, what did you think of the Inception?
First things first, I would just like to say, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, you have my heart. I absolutely adore that man. Anyway,
Nice.
I did actually enjoy this movie. I
Nice.
know I started off nitpicking it.
I was like,
literally
Jesus,
right
like,
off the
say how
bat.
you feel.
But I did enjoy it actually. Like again, it was easier to follow than I had thought that it was gonna be, which is
Yeah.
nice because I was really worried about that because I can be a little slow sometimes.
A little?
So,
And sometimes
just a tiny bit. Which also goes into like I'm glad that I didn't watch it when I was younger because I would not have understood a single thing. It would have been an Interstellar moment where it was like where I watched it and I was like, this was boring, I didn't understand it, and then never watch it again until years later I realized, oh shit, this is a good movie. I feel
Makes
like that would have
sense.
been the same scenario if I had watched it earlier. So I'm glad I waited till my brain was fully ish developed. So
Makes sense.
I can kind of comprehend it a little bit better.
Oh, I'm glad your brain is a little more developed. It's like now like about 10%, you know. So
just slightly.
Just enough to understand. Which it's kind of crazy that you say that though, because the first time I saw this, I was like 10 or 11 years old, and I at least plot wise, I think I understood it, like pretty straightforward. So maybe
You're lying to yourself.
Maybe, but I remember watching and being like not being as confused as I thought. I don't know. Hector, how many times have you seen this? Like, when did you first watch this?
I first watched this film back in 2016 or 2017, so
Okay.
I definitely saw it a little bit late.
Yeah,
But not as late as Martha. Just saying.
that's the case for almost everything.
That is most of the time, yeah.
And after watching it for my first time, I waited till maybe a few years ago to watch it a second time, then a third time, and then today was my fourth time watching it, or finishing
Okay.
it. And
Cool.
wow, what an epic film.
Same
You've
feeling
got
I
a
have.
whole list of details.
Yeah, I know I've seen this multiple times. I don't exactly know how long or how many times, but I do remember. Well, at the time I was living in Peru, and at the time, if you wanted to watch a movie, you kind of had to go to the market and buy some stuff bootleg. So that's how I watched Inception, and I loved it since then. So definitely something I've gone back to over the years. And why are you laughing? What's so funny? We struggled.
It's, you talking about like getting the bootleg version of it, and I saw this is irrelevant,
Of course.
but I saw
Here
on
you go.
Twitter.
But that's why we have you.
It was a tweet about this guy who was like, I have Shark Boy and Lava Girl on bootleg, but the captions are from a different movie.
Oh.
And like, oh god,
Could they not turn them off?
Find it. No, because when it comes to like certain bootleg copies, like the caption is like embedded.
They're like embedded,
into
yeah, in the
film.
video, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't.
That's
Okay,
funny.
thank God I found it. So yes, it was a Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see it with the.
You're gonna
probably
have
not.
to. It's fine. If you send it
What
to
was-
Martha, you can send it to me, and I'll edit it in the episode.
Okay, because they're so funny, and I really need everyone to see them because there is the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Sure. Well, just take your word for it, Martha.
So, yeah.
And Hector, with that, if we ever talk about Shark Boy and Lava Girl, you're more than welcome to be on for that.
I'm so
Oh,
excited.
thank
for
you
that
so
episode.
much.
You're welcome. But let's just finally get into the movie that we're here to talk about today. So immediately off the bat, I feel like there's so much happening even from the beginning. Like he wakes up on the beach, and he sees his children just walking around, and then he enters this like amazing looking Japanese castle, and then you
Yeah.
just see an old man, and then you see a totem just spinning on the table, and then suddenly you're back to as a younger man. And then you have Joseph Gordon-Levitt there, and he just starts talking about how, you know, the whole idea, I guess, of what they do. Like they're extractors from dreams, and because dreams, they put your mind in a vulnerable state, so security's down, so we can go in and take the dreams from the mind.
Yeah, you're very much just dropped into it, like
Yeah.
you know, off the deep end into this world, which worried me at first, but I feel like they really did a good job of making up for it as the story went along. But I would like to say, you know,
What's
like
that?
he's like, well, I'm trained and like I can like read minds with my power, and I'm like, you know what? I'm a communications major. I can do the same thing. So I was just throwing that out there. I could be corn on the cob if I really wanted to. All right. So I'm just
Corn on
saying.
the cob.
Okay. All right, Martha, I'm gonna close my eyes, and I want you to, like, go in my mind for a second, okay?
Okay. You're picturing corn on the cob.
Perfect.
That was close. Yeah. Okay.
Hey.
But honestly, I didn't feel like it was too much of. Okay, I will say, I wrote down at some point I think this is the hardest movie I've had to take notes on before, because this movie does not stop in terms of like.
Yes.
I literally could not think of any scene here that was like filler or like didn't add anything to what was happening. So it's just kind of like every time something was happening, and I just like, you're still right. I'm still like taking
You're
note
still
what happened
writing, yeah.
5 minutes ago. Yeah, it was a lot, but in a way where like I liked it because, like I said, no scene felt meaningless here. Like everything, it felt like a natural progression of what was gonna happen next.
Yeah.
So I like
Yeah,
that about it.
Definitely. Like, sorry to butt
Oh
in,
no,
but,
you're
like,
good.
I did the same thing. I took notes over this, and it's a mess. Like,
Oh yeah.
there's
It's a
always
mess.
something happening, and like, should I write that down? Should I not?
Right.
Everything's important. It's quite something.
Because there's other movies that I've taken notes down about stuff, and I'm like, I don't really need to write that down. It's not important. I feel like for this, like, almost everything that's happening is like important.
Yes.
You know?
And so, like I mean, I was telling you before we had started this, I was like, my notes are a lot shorter for some reason, and I think it's because it was like me trying to like figure out what can I catch from this, because this is my first time watching it. So like I'm seeing the surface level. I haven't really got deeper into it with like multiple viewings. So, you know, hopefully.
Well, that's what Hector and I
watching
can
it
help
more.
you navigate today.
Yeah. That's what you're here for. Teach me.
Yes. Well, so while all that's happening, he sees this woman that's suddenly in the dream, and then clearly Arthur is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character is clearly like has a look of annoyance on his face, because obviously we learn later Mal's just popping up in these dreams nonstop, like he cannot control it. And then I love the way like the kind of main idea of the movie starts. Like he's like, I don't know what he says to him, but like what's his face, Sato is like asking him like, oh, like steal it, like you're stealing from me, or like that we're actually asleep, like what are you hiding from me? And then it's like boom, you're like in it.
Oh yeah.
And then the theme comes in, and then the action's like boom, 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 like it all kicks in like crazy. And then it like cuts to like a different scene. They're like in a different place now, like in some apartment, and it's like, damn, we watching a dream within a dream right now. Crazy shit. And like
Crazy.
it's a lot of layers. It's pretty nuts.
It's like an ogre is what this is.
You mean
It's-
like an ogre and an onion?
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Oh, okay.
It has layers. So
Thank you, Martha, for your commentary on that. That was really
you're
valuable.
welcome. I am done for today.
All right, Martha, signing out. No.
Goodbye.
Bye. No, and then you hear that French song come in for the first time. I don't know if anyone here wants to try this. Oh,
That one.
I thought you were about to go,
10 out of 10.
yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, that's totally what I meant. Yep.
Yes. And then there comes the moment where they're like talking to Sato, and like we're doing this and this and that, and then Leo like shoves him on the floor, and he starts feeling the carpet, and he's like, this ain't my carpet, bro. This is not what my carpet feels. This ain't what my carpet's feeling like. And then you realize that's where the architect fucked up. You got to make the whole setting feel realistic.
Yes.
Clearly did not know the carpet, and he's like, bro, I didn't know he was gonna put his face on the fucking carpet. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't have thought of that. But then again, I feel like I've spent enough time in my life just like petting carpets, so maybe I would be able to tell the difference.
I feel like you would be, yeah, you would know that. No one
I
else.
wouldn't. Nothing else would tick me off. Like nothing else.
No.
But just the carpet.
Just the
I
carpet.
think that would be the only thing. Yeah.
Yes, that's the one detail they missed. But somehow they all get out before he wakes up off the train. He wakes up and it's just that one dude reading his book, and they did what they do. And now he's like talking on the phone with his kids, and then that's when we see like his main goal in this movie is, at the end of the day, he just wants to get back home to his kids. We don't know why he's not with his kids. We don't know why he's away or whatever. We just know that's what he wants, is to get back to them. Especially revealing that woman obviously is his wife, and then Arthur's asking him about it, like, you're okay? Like, she was in the dream again. Like, clearly she's been popping up a lot. And we don't know why this is happening, but
I would also like to say her name is Mal. I mean, that's like spelling out not good, bad.
It's Spanish, right? Yeah.
It's bad.
well,
So, you know.
that's the interesting thing though, is like then when
I guess
Ariadne
there
later
is
in the movie, like she asked
twist.
about him, he's like, well, she's like, well, he's lovely, like in real life, that's like, but you never really see how she was.
You
in
do,
real
yeah,
life,
that's true.
which
But
is
also,
interesting.
spoilers ahead.
That was good for you to do. A little late.
Yeah,
but
a little
better
late,
late than
but-
never.
You know, we've only gotten like what,
Hector, just for
15
context,
minutes into the
yes, Hector, for context, we've historically been terrible at giving out spoiler warnings for the movies ahead, which
Sorry,
no,
this is exactly what happened during Interstellar too. Like 20 minutes in, and then spoiler.
Spoilers.
we were like, so
ahead.
this character just
And
dies. Oh,
behind.
by the way, spoilers in case you need to watch the movie still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, if you're clicking on these videos and these audios, and come on, you're expecting
You kind
it.
of,
So,
yeah.
you know,
But you know,
come on.
there's gonna be one
It's on
person
you.
one day that's
You
might
should
be
already know.
Exactly.
Okay.
But basically what happens next though is they're about to go leave and do their own thing, him and Arthur, but that dumbass architect who didn't know how to carpet felt sold them out. So now Sato's in the helicopter and he's like, yo, I want y'all to do something for me. It's called Inception. And they're like, bro, Inception's impossible, we can't do that for you. Because basically, instead of y'all, what y'all normally do, taking an idea from somebody and like stealing something, we want y'all to plant an idea in someone's head. I know it's impossible, but I want y'all to do it. And in exchange for it, corn on the cob, I will grant you the freedom to go back home to America.
I will grant you 3 wishes.
Yes, genie. Right.
I think it's very important to note that like Saito like was pretty much testing them because like
oh yes, a whole
Cobb and Arthur were basically performing an extraction on Saito.
Yes.
And like his secrets and all that, and then as soon as they fell, like Saito goes and finds them to perform an extraction on someone else, basically.
Right.
I think that's so funny.
So it's like it did, because even when they first got out, he was like, "Y'all failed," but that was before then he realized they were in a dream within a dream when he found out like that carpet was fucked up or whatever. So yeah,
he got impressed.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
which is interesting to see. But I would also like to say something that I've noticed with this film, which just came to me because we started talking about like Sato and his character at the beginning of it, and you kind of first get the feeling that he's kind of going to be this big bad character, and that's like causing the trouble, but then he isn't, because it turns out to be the person who's giving them the job, and he ends up helping them out throughout the job. And I think it's interesting that this film doesn't have that character that's like
there's no real antagonist.
There is no antagonist.
Honestly, the antagonist is time.
Their antagonist is time, and I think ultimately their own like subconscious, and they're they're like
they're their own enemy.
Nature. They're their own enemy, exactly.
Yes.
So,
I like that. That's why I fuck with Inception, man. That's why.
True that.
And then this is the first time you hear the quote that kind of comes full circle. It's like, well, do you want to take a leap of faith, or do you want to become an old man filled with regret, waiting to die alone? And I'm like, why the fuck would you say that? But it comes full circle, so it's like it's fine. But that's the first time you hear that. Then he goes to see Martha, like you said, Sir Michael Caine. So from what is he his dad-in-law? Is that what I understand?
His father-in-law. Correct.
Yes. Okay.
In-law. I thought it was just his father.
I didn't get that vibe that he was his like straight up birth dad.
Well, I figured it was like an estranged.
Kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Well, they don't make it clear, but yeah.
Right.
But basically, what is clear at that point is like he's the one who kind of taught him what he knows. Like that's the kind of information he gets, and he basically explaining to them like, yeah, I know this is impossible, but like this is the only way I need to get home because he has charges that prevent him from going in the country. Like I said, we don't know what he's being charged for, but he ain't going home like this. Then we also learned that Cobb himself was also once a great architect. Like he used to be fully capable of doing all these things on his own, but clearly because of the whole Miles situation, it's not gonna work. So he needs someone else to do that for her, and that is where he meets Ariadne. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ariadne.
Very interesting choice of a name. He meets her, and I love the scene where he tests her to kind of draw like that maze. Is like you have like what he says like you have 2 minutes to draw me a maze that like will take me more than a minute to solve, something like that.
Yeah.
So I like that scene when she finally gets it, and that's cool. And then
Well, I want to go a little bit deeper into that scene, and like when she's first brought into like his dream. I think they do a very good job with like world building here and kind of giving the concept of it's like, well, think back of like when you dream, you don't know the beginning of your dreams, you just end up somewhere, and you don't, nothing makes sense, but you don't realize it until you're awake, and things like that is really
while you're in the
interesting.
dream, you're not aware of that, obviously.
Yeah. So I think good world building happening there. And then another thing that I had noticed, which maybe it happened in like the beginning scenes, I just didn't catch on until this one, was the camera work. Seemed very, I think it was like a handheld camera that kind of gave it this like warped, like moving feeling that makes it feel dreamlike, which I thought was really interesting. So, but I can't remember if they like carry that on into like the rest of the movie, which I feel like the rest of the movie is in a dream.
I'm sure they did. I mean, most of the movie is in the dream. I mean, honestly, even the points where you don't think it's in a dream, it's like, are we? Is it a dream?
Yeah.
You don't really
Is
even
it
know for
a dream?
sure.
It
don't
always
know.
makes you
Yeah.
think about what is happening, and it makes you
Like, what's
question,
reality?
like,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Real
I love that.
reality.
Which I will say to your point, Martha, I thought it was interesting that you brought up the fact that like he mentions the fact that like, well, when you start a dream, you don't like remember the beginning of a dream and stuff like that. I was watching Nolan talk about like he wanted to kind of introduce like real life elements of a dream to make the audience, I guess, connect more to the dream
Make
parts
it
of the movie.
believable.
So the other part, for example, that he mentioned was like that kind of part where you I don't know how to explain it, like the kick
When
like,
you're falling.
Yes,
And
yes.
you get that feeling of like, oh, you're gonna
Like that
fall, and
jolt,
so you like
like-
jolt awake.
yes.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah,
even mentioned that
was another
specifically.
concept.
So and I think that definitely works for the movie. So I like that a
Yeah,
lot.
it does give it that sense of real. A lot of it was, I don't know. A lot of the movie was very much like, okay, like I can understand. Like it all made sense. Nothing was so outlandish that it was like, okay, well, this movie's just ridiculous. I mean, the concept is
It is,
far fetched,
but-
yes, but it's not
it
to
feels
the point
based
where
in
it's
reality.
yeah, it's based in reality, exactly. So I think that's a cool take on it. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I also love that when Cobb is trying to basically hire Ariadne to be the architect of a dream, she starts playing around with it, and you see all the like special
Yeah.
effects happening, and
Yeah.
like
It's
what's
crazy,
possible
bro.
in a dream, and yeah,
It's like
Yeah,
shit
it's
flying in
very
slow mo
intense.
around them, and like
Mhm.
like that part when they're at the cafe and like all the explosions are going on. But then, like you said,
Yeah.
specifically when she's doing it herself and like messing with the bridges and like those mirrors and stuff
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
No, it's cool as fuck.
no, it wasn't-
Oh, okay. Well, you can chime in.
I'm like thinking in my head because I was like, okay, well maybe the camera work only happened in her dream because she was still trying to figure out how to craft it to make it look as realistic as possible, and that's why it seemed a little bit more warped than the other
That's
ones.
definitely a possibility. I honestly can't remember all the specific instances in which the camera moved like that, so I can't
Yeah.
tell you whether you're right
That
or
was
wrong,
just the
'cause
one
I
that
would
like
tell
really
you.
stuck out to me because again, this was her like because it was a scene. It was following her walk through as she's like building all these things and doing
Yeah.
crazy shit. So it's like maybe that's why it was a very clear and steady image where I was able to see the warping, which I thought it was just a nice touch. That
Yeah, no.
maybe it adds a deeper level to it. Maybe I'm just overthinking it.
No.
That's what I do.
Definitely overthinking it. Definitely. I'm kidding.
You know what?
Thank you,
Whatever.
Hector. but to,
It's
but,
time-
but
you're
to-
not invited anymore.
But to add on to all that, though, it's key that you mentioned that because, like, when she started changing so many things, like, he notes how, like, the more you change, like, that'll affect the subconscious of the dreamer. Because then they'll start noticing that, like, the foreign nature, like, you don't belong here. And then he looks
The-
around
the
and recognizes that
subconscious.
the places that she's building are memories that he had with Mal. And he's like, okay, like, you do not need to be recreating whole settings, just details.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to lose grasp of what's real reality. She's like, that would happen to you? And he's like,
He's like, we're not talking about me right
we're
now.
not talking
okay?
about me right now. Okay? And clearly, like, you could tell pretty obviously through him, like, that's exactly what happened to him. And that's why, literally the whole reason why he's not, like, building these things himself is because he cannot separate reality from his own dreams and all. So eventually, though, she wakes up because Mal stabs her. And clearly, like, she doesn't understand at that point. I mean, we don't really know either until then. Like, the only way you can wake up from the dream, unless you die, is, like, you have to wait for time to run out. And then you kind of understand now what the idea of the totems mean. Like, for example, the spinning top we see from Cobb. And basically, just the whole idea of it is just showing, like, whether you know if you're in your own reality or whether you're in someone else's. Because you only know, you're the only one that knows the weight, I guess, and, like, feel, like, touch of that token. or
Yeah,
whatever,
the
Yeah.
texture and everything.
for sure. So what would y'all's token be
What would
if you had
my
a token?
I don't know. That's a hard question. My ring.
Okay.
This one. I always keep it on me.
Very interesting that you mentioned that.
You were gonna
I
say ring.
was thinking, I'll tell you later why. But I think mine would be a token. Just, I don't know.
It's
Like,
just a token,
so- a token of, like, a specific token that, like, I don't know, customize or something. Something weird.
Like one of those pennies you press at the zoo and you do the crank and it
Absolutely.
That would be perfect. I found my token just now. I don't know if you can see.
Oh,
Is that
cool, yeah.
bear
A bear, Scooby Doo.
dog Scooby Doo.
That would be my token because no one knows the exact weight. He's gone. Okay.
He's
the exact weight. Well, I guess you don't even know what no one else knows what it looks like either except me. Yeah, that question just popped in my head. I thought I would ask. Anyway. So now he's like, okay, next up, I gotta find someone who's a thief, but not only a thief actually. I need a forger. So we go find Tom Hardy.
Who I love this man so much.
Oh, I love Tom Hardy, dude. One of my favorite actors.
Incredible.
He's great.
Yes. Also, didn't even realize like they later also were in a movie together, The Revenant.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I completely forgot
Great
about it. I
movie.
mean, I know Martha. I don't know if you've seen it, but they're
No, I have not.
let's just say the relationship in that movie is a lot different than here.
Bear.
Yeah,
That's all I know.
Yeah.
Bam, that's all you know.
Anywho, so his name's Eames in this film, and basically he's just talking to Cobb about, in terms of planting the idea, you have to plant like the simplest version of the idea, and you have to like allow that to grow in its like on its own, like in their mind. And particularly for this case, like he needs to focus on the father-son relationship. Like that is the simple seed you need to plant. The thing is, though, the place he wants to go visit him is called Mombasa, and apparently, I guess there's this corporation called Cobb. I don't know what's called.
Cobwebs.
Cobalt Engineering.
Something. Yes, Martha. Cobwebs.
Yeah, who Cobbs was working for when they were extracting Saido's mind.
Yes.
But since they failed, Cobalt Engineering is trying to go after
him.
Cobbs.
Yes.
Yeah, so Corn on the Cob is on the run from Cobwebs Industries. This sounds like Spider-Man.
Basically.
Yeah, exactly.
It is Spider-Man.
Okay.
Anywho.
You have Tom Hardy too.
Come on now.
Come on, Venom. Anyway, so after that, I mean, yeah, they find him, and we get another really cool action scene, and literally cannot get away from any of these people. But then Sato saves his ass, and then Eames is there. So then they all meet up, and they go find a guy named Yusuf, because Yusuf is a chemist, and basically because they're gonna do dream within a dream within a dream, right? Am I missing another within a dream?
Right.
No, they start off at only 3. They go deeper later.
Yeah.
But
Later, you're
They
right,
do.
you're right. But basically, in order to do this, they need a very powerful sedative to kind of keep them under. So eventually, once he sees how it works with him, he tests it out himself, and then all these memories of Maul just kind of come flooding back to him. But at the same time, it showed that, yeah, this sedative works, bro. So, like, you know what?
Good stuff.
this is the good shit.
There's some good shit right here.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I really like though next how they kind of establish the relationship between like the father and son of the Fisher. I think they're both Robert, right? They're just like junior, senior.
It's Robert and
Robert.
I thought it was
Wobbot.
Maurice.
Robert and Wobbert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, but they basically establish that the relationship between them is a lot rockier than they thought it was.
Yeah.
So apparently they have this power. I guess it's a superpower. I guess if you observe somebody enough, like their mannerisms and the way they speak and everything, that in the dream you can appear to look like that person.
I don't think that's necessarily a superpower. I think that's more of just like good sense of like getting to know people. Like if you observe someone enough.
So if you were to watch Hector
As a
enough right now.
communications major who
Right.
can also read
My bad,
minds, I
Right.
would also be able to pick up on people's.
I will respectfully
you
bow
know,
out of this conversation. I have no,
it-
yeah.
And
yeah.
Sorry.
And I
So
think
you're
that's what
also a
afford-
communications major.
I know,
Yeah.
but not advanced like you. I have a few semesters left in me.
What were you gonna say, Hector?
No, I was just gonna mention. I think that's what like the role of a forger is, right? Like to like basically trick people into thinking that they're other
Yeah.
people or something.
Yeah, that's kind of the concept I got from it, was that it was just more like he was more trained on how to do it, not so much that,
That
it
makes-
became
Yeah,
with a superpower.
that's probably what it
sort of
was, to
thing.
be honest. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Basically, though, he could do that. So he observes Browning. Apparently, Browning is like someone really close to the Fishers. So he observes him to the point where he can, like, again, adopt his mannerisms and kind of act as him in the dream and get information out of Fisher. And in a way, it's like he's forming that projection in a way, so it's like he's giving himself the idea later on. That's kind of the idea that they have. Then we cut back to Ariadne, and at this point, I'm like kind of surprised that out of all the people that have worked with Cobb over the years, she's the only one that's picked up on the fact that like
Right?
he's not wanting to design because of the whole Mal situation.
Like, says mentally ill.
Yeah.
Y'all are bad friends if you can't pick that up.
You don't have that detector, bro? Like,
Yeah.
there's your
Come on
radar
now,
on that,
yeah.
bro.
less than 1 weekend, and she already picked up on it.
Exactly,
Right.
yeah.
And, like, y'all
else
have been
is
with him
basically
presumably for years.
Oblivious.
And they have no
Yes.
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
especially
oblivious
Arthur, bro.
people.
I'm like, I don't get it. But
yeah, that's like your bestie.
That's
and
like your
like,
bestie. Like,
he's like, he's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
Yeah, so
He's
he
like,
doesn't design anymore. I don't question it.
Yeah,
Just
so it's like,
keep moving.
Ma was there. You good? Yeah, no, no.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now we know that the crime in particular that is keeping him away from, his life, is that he's accused of her murder, which is very interesting. And I literally, when they said that, I honestly did not even remember that. I was like, how did that connect? But later on, it does. So, and then so they start talking about the whole Fisher situation again, and they're talking about how, I guess, what they would lean towards is kind of the negative emotions they would want to make him feel, but they're like, no. It's the positive emotions that are gonna like stick with him. That's the one that's gonna make him change his mind.
And
Especially
then-
when Leo's like, we all yearn for reconciliation and catharsis.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro.
In the end, that's the moral of the story, man. Just happy vibes, good vibes. When you're dreaming,
vibes all
just
around.
good vibes.
Imagine if Inception was a stoner flick. Like, it was just all.
I mean, it might as well be.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, come on now.
And then at that point, they're like trying to think of what specific thought are we gonna plant in his mind to like have it organically grow. And I love I don't know. They were like trying to decide. Okay, at this level, this is the thought we're gonna put, and then at this level, this is how we're gonna do it. I was like, they're so good.
They're so smart.
So fucking
Yeah,
smart.
because like at the first level, you plant like a fake like a idea, and then like within the next level, his subconscious like builds upon that idea naturally.
Yeah.
And that's what they want him to believe, right?
Right.
So,
That's
wild stuff.
It's some wild shit. And basically they realize though that they're gonna need a shit ton of time because, like they established earlier, obviously the dream world is a lot more time compared to real life. So like every 5 minutes is like an hour or something like that. And especially the more depths they go in these dreams, the longer time it's gonna be. So it's like fucking like, I don't know, an hour in one, and then like a week in the next one, and then like 6 months. I don't know. So like a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Also, something quick I wanted to shout out with Tom Hardy, because you said, Martha, I mean, as much as you love him, I do love the little moments of humor you get with him too, especially with him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, because even they established they just don't really like each other.
Talking trash.
So I just thought their little back and forth was good, and then even the little line with Sato, like they're trying to decide like how they're gonna get on Fisher's private plane because they need the flight, and they're like, okay, I guess we'll have to buy out the flight attendant and this and that, and he's like, oh, I just bought out the airline.
the whole thing, yeah.
Like, he's like, just sounded neater.
Just sounded neat. Yeah, I love that.
I was like,
want
we
to have that
love
power.
rich people.
Yeah, and my favorite part with Tom Hardy's character, just because he's like he's very sassy, and I love it. But like he's like subtly sassy. Where it was like during the shootout in like the first dream sequence, and he was like shooting with just like a regular gun, and he's like, you have to dream bigger, darling.
Yes.
And he pushes him aside with a
Pulls out
giant
a
ass
grenade
gun.
launcher.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not as sassy as that. Have you seen that Pinocchio trailer? From that.
Oh my god,
No.
Not that sassy
You
when he was like,
haven't
oh my god.
Hector, you have to
I
watch
have to
it
see
now.
this.
Basically,
right
Oh
all
my
I'm going to
God.
tell you right now is, Father, when am I going to be on my own?
Oh my god, you do that perfectly.
Thank you. I've watched it so many times.
Which I don't know if you know about like the rest of the plot, but essentially it's that Pinocchio has decided that he wants to run away to the circus because he's fallen in love with a girl.
Oh.
Like what?
That doesn't add up.
What?
Something
Wait,
don't
wait.
add up there. That's not quite
What?
not quite
What
right.
movie is this?
It's this
Like-
it's this like straight to video Pinocchio movie. I don't know, but like
Straight-to-video
Pauly,
Pinocchio
but like
movie.
Pauly, what's his face? Not Jersey Shore.
Pauly Shore?
No. Pauly. What the fuck is his? I cannot think of it right now.
Polly Pocket.
No, it is Pauly Shore. I'm thinking Pauly D is the one from. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anywho, but yeah, that's just not that level of sass though from Tom. But that would have been funny. Like, I don't know if I would imagine that in Inception. Anyway, basically, so night comes and Cobb's just laying there dreaming, and she's like, you know what? Let me see what this motherfucker is dreaming about because he's hiding shit. She goes in there and Mal is all throughout this right now, and basically just discovers that these are all memories that Cobb is continuing to go back and revisit. But I did find it interesting that normally it's like memories you would want to like relive because you found, I don't know, they're like memorable and full of joy.
Yeah.
These are all regrets in his life that he's
Yeah.
keeping, that he just wants to fix. He wants to change them because he feels this level of guilt, and we don't know why
Yeah.
yet he feels this guilt.
Because he's just a masochist at the end of the day. He's just like he thrives off his own pain and like self pity. That is who Corn on the Cob is.
That is
Okay?
exactly
Corn
who
on
he
the cob.
is.
Yeah.
And then we see this little like basement kind of level, and he's like, we ain't going there. So
It's like,
basically,
push the button.
so once they get to the house, which I do love the little moment right there when they get to the house and she's like, "Oh, is this your house?" And he's like, yeah, it's mine and Maul's." Like in his head, like she's still like, this bitch is alive.
In his head, she's
Yeah.
still, yeah.
But then she basically said, "You know what, bitch? I'm gonna see this for myself." Runs in the elevator and goes down there on her own. And I mean, it's like, yeah, like you would understand why he doesn't want her to see these things, but it's like, bro, you're hiding this from everybody. It's gonna ruin y'all's mission.
Yeah. He's at this point you're just being creepier that you're hiding all of this stuff and like
Yeah.
you go and you're like, well, I didn't kill my wife, everyone thinks I did. But he does even mention he's like, hey, thanks for not asking if I did it or not,
Oh,
because like,
yeah.
Yeah.
apparently everyone else
That came out
does.
so random too, but
I guess he was just
Yeah.
surprised because I guess everyone asked him if he really did it, and I guess
yeah.
he maybe felt like, oh, like why, like how would you even think I'm capable of doing that? And I guess by her not asking
Yeah.
it, it's like she sees that he wouldn't do something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Although I definitely would have thought that.
Oh, I definitely would have been
If I
like,
were
dude,
in her
did you?
shoes.
Me too.
I would have
You
asked.
very clearly
It's just
did.
something you don't say. Like
No.
you
Yeah.
don't ask.
Because
You're
like
like, I'm
now
not gonna ask, but now that you said that, did you?
Yeah. Because you're the creep who's like keeping like memories of her like in going back to them often in your subconscious. Like that's creepy, and that's very much like
That's like-
I murdered my wife
Yeah,
energy.
that's like saving all that shit like in a scrapbook or like in your camera roll or
Yeah.
something, and you just keep going back and back and back to it.
It's like
okay,
come on now.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little strange, man. Anywho, no, but at this point in the movie, it's like it's literally like I didn't even realize it was only like an hour and so in the movie, and we're already like in the heist. It's like a heist movie now.
Yeah.
We're like,
It's a heist movie. That's what it is.
yes, and I love that. It's like we're in it now.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're in the mission, and then suddenly, so they're in the first dream. Suddenly, and I don't know how I forgot about this. This fucking train rams through the street, and clearly that's the train from like his subconscious, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? Then you get a lot of gunfire, pew, 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 and then Sato is shot. They didn't realize it until after the fact, but he's shot.
Yeah.
So then they're like, go into some place, and then they got a lot of shit to break down. They're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
This is not okay. Cobb,
And-
get your shit together.
Corn on the Cob is like coming in aggressive.
Oh, he's coming in hot.
And
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, this is your fault. Like, why didn't you say all?" It's like he's
he's
very
projecting.
clearly,
He's
yeah,
He's
he's
going for
projecting.
Arthur's head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
like there's no reason, sir. You're the reason. Like the train. Who else would that be? Come on, now.
Right.
All right.
They literally looked at him like, why was a train there? He's like,
It's like,
oh.
that was a train. What? I didn't see that.
See that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then Fisher, so basically then they're like, why were there so many fucking people with guns like trying to come after us? That's more than normal. So Fisher had his subconscious trained like, by an extractor to defend itself. So it's like a fucking military. It's coming
Got
out of
military
him,
in his brain. Yeah.
in his brain. It's pretty crazy. And now here's the thing that Leo did not tell the crew. Because of the amount of sedation that they gave them, if they die in the dream, they're not waking up. They're gonna be in limbo for how
There's
long?
the Loopsyland.
Long fucking time. We don't know how long, but they're gonna be there for a bit. And Cobb knew this because he himself was in limbo. And so they're like, dude, why the fuck didn't you tell us? And now they're saying, okay, well, that's where Sato's gonna be because it looks like he's not making it. And then you remember, okay, the beginning of the movie when we saw him as an old man, that's him in limbo, basically.
Yeah.
So she's like, damn. But you know what? The job continues because they need this first idea planted in his mind. So now Eames is, he's masked himself as Browning, so he's gonna get that out. And then the more they talk, like you do start seeing Fisher open up and be vulnerable. So you're like, okay, they're gonna plant this idea pretty good. Like it's going well. And then as all that is happening, then Cobb is like, okay, Ariana, let me be honest about something real quick. Not the full truth, just a little truth.
A little bit extra.
So he's like, yeah. So I was in limbo. It was fun. Basically, me and my 10 out of 10 experience. Would do it
Would
again.
recommend 10 out of 10.
Again, would rewatch. Him and his wife just kept going and going and going, dream within dreams. They were just so obsessed with the idea, to the point where they were stuck there for 50 years. They built a whole world together.
They grew old.
Yeah, they like, ruled the world. They were gods.
They were gods.
But Cobb knew, like, okay, this isn't reality. Like, we need to get out of here. But Maul, she puts her totem away in a safe. Like, she's basically, in her mind, she's like, this limbo is my reality. Like, this is it for me. But eventually they get out of the limbo and they wake up. And Cobb explains that she somehow, I don't know where she got this idea from.
It was crazy. I don't
Crazy.
know.
She must have come up with that on her own. The idea in her head that in order to get back to their true reality, that they needed to kill themselves because they believed that the reality, well, she believed that her reality was still a dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously, at this point, this is all we know from Cobb. Like, this is all we're gonna know from him.
Yeah. But that was very, very smart of her. Like, her plan was, because she kept trying to, like, hey, I'm gonna kill myself, but you're gonna kill yourself too, because we're gonna escape this together.
She wanted them both to die.
Yeah,
so
and he was
go
like,
back to their children.
yeah, he's like, I got kids.
He's like, my kids are here. They're not where you think they are. They are right here.
I don't know where you think you're going, lady. But she's like, got this whole master plan where she's like, oh, but sweetie, I'm gonna kill myself, and then you're gonna kill yourself. Yeah, because I already, wrote the letter saying that you did it, and everyone's gonna be coming after you.
Yes, and that is lead to why he's been accused of killing her, because, like you said, that letter, he's like, yeah. So because of this, and saying that you put me in danger and you want to kill me, you're not gonna be with the children. You're not gonna be able to, whether you like it or not. Yeah. So you might as well jump off with me right now. You're kind of stuck. You're like, I'm doing you a favor, bro. But he's imploring, like, don't go. Think about the children. Blah, blah, blah. She jumps off. Her mind is made up, and she jumps off. Kills herself. And at this point, Ariadne's like, okay, listen. This guilt right now is what is powering her to stay in your dreams, and you need to let go of that, because you are not responsible for that idea being in her head. And I'm like, okay, you don't know.
Now, if that ain't some foreshadowing,
25 more minutes.
Just wait a little bit, girl, because you might need to take that back. But anyway, here we go. Now we're back. We're now in the second dream. So now it's dream within a dream. They're in this hotel, and they know at this point. So they've established too that the more they go into the dreams, the security, like the subconscious, is going to be even tougher on them.
Yeah.
And then they also mentioned too that because they say that the father-son relationship is more fractured, but because of that, it's going to be even more cathartic, I guess, once that idea gets to him too. Yes. So it's like a bitter, I guess it's like a blessing in disguise kind of thing.
Yeah. See, everyone wins in this. There is no bad guy.
No. So basically, they both determine Cobb and Eames in this situation they need to take on people. So Eames is like just a woman in the bar, and then Cobb said, "I'm gonna be Mr. Charles because that worked out so well last time." And we understand why they're so hesitant to have him do that again. It's basically, Mr. Charles is a self-aware man. He's like, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're in a dream. People are trying to take shit from you right now in your mind, and you know what? I'm your subconscious, and I'm here to protect you. And he goes along with it. We're like, okay, sure.
He works. Yeah, it works.
It works. I'm like, okay. I'm like, it's, honestly, yeah, he shouldn't be running a company because clearly believes
he's a salesman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
There you go. But the problem is that once they're now aware that they're actually trying to steal from his mind, his subconscious is now going to look for that dreamer, drawing more attention to everyone that's in there. Yeah. Like that moment where they start, Arthur and Ariadne start noticing that that's happening. He's like, oh, kiss me, and then she kisses him, and she's like, they're still looking, and he's like, oh yeah, it was worth a shot though.
Why don't I remember this part?
You're probably working for 5 seconds.
It's when Arthur kisses Ariadne.
I literally don't remember this part.
They're literally, so he notices that they're looking, and she's like, oh, he's like, kiss me, it'll distract them. And he's like, oh, they're still looking. And he's like, oh yeah, it was worth a shot. You don't remember that? It was funny.
No, I literally never saw that.
It was fucking smooth, bro. Like what?
That
It
was.
was smooth.
I was sad that
10
I
out of
missed
10
it.
smooth.
Yeah, come on, look it up.
Man,
Um,
I'm gonna
and
go
then
back and rewatch just for that.
did you notice though that his fucking kids just won't get out the dream? Like they're literally just
Right.
crawling
Yeah.
around the hotel. I'm
Just
like, bro, get the
crawling.
fuck out.
Yeah. Like, where are your parents?
Where are your parents? Come on. But anyway, they do get into the hotel room because they find out. I don't know how they found out it was 528. The numbers.
Because in the first dream they were
Those are
like
the first three
Cobb's-
numbers of his code,
Mhm.
right? Or the combination.
Yeah. And Cobbs is asking Peter for like think about what numbers might be for the
First
safe
numbers
or
pop in your head.
whatever.
Yeah.
First number to pop in your head, and he says like 5-2. So they go to the 5th floor and look out for
Yeah.
any room with 5-2.
Got you. So then at this point, they get even more self-aware. So Eames is Browning again. They convince Fisher that Browning is the one hiding something from him.
Yeah.
And that we need to break into
He's the bad
Browning's
guy.
subconscious to find that. And he's like, okay, let's do it. So then they put Fisher to sleep, and they're like, actually not, bitch, we going in your fucking subconscious. He's helping us break into his own fucking mind. I'm like, that's
Third level
fucking
in.
genius.
Genius.
And suddenly, I don't know why, but it's a snowstorm level that we're on right now.
Yeah.
We're on that final dream right now.
Even they were like, why couldn't you like design up a beach or something?
Girl,
like,
yeah.
what?
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Dude, I was just thinking though, the amount of like practical effects that must have gone into all of this shit is crazy.
Yeah.
'Cause especially when,
Yeah.
so whenever I guess the van turns, I guess the other environment turns, like in the hotel,
Yes. Yeah.
and the walls are going like this, and they're
The-
climbing up and shit.
Coolest
Yeah.
scene.
So like
I
in the
absolutely
first
loved
level. Yeah. Now like in the first level when they're in the van and everyone's like sleeping in the van, and there's this scene where the van like flips because it's like
Yeah.
driving too fast or something, and like they just flip. So in the second level, Arthur's like in the hallway trying to like make sure everyone's safe, and that's like one of my favorite scenes in the movie where
Yeah.
there's like action and like the hallways like
It's
Is
turning
fucking cool.
very,
pretty
very
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
I really, really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. The zero gravity sort of thing. And again, it's just like, it's another piece that, as odd as this sounds, adds to like making it more realistic in
Yeah,
a way
yeah,
in my head,
totally.
because
Believable.
like, I don't know if you guys have had similar dreams where you could just like swim in the middle of the air, or is that just me thing?
That's just you.
falling maybe, but
No, I used to have dreams all the time that I was just like I would just start like swimming midair, which like if y'all have seen Hereditary and there's like that scene towards the end, I literally screamed in the
Oh,
theater because
I
it freaked
see.
me out because I did that
Oh, okay.
in my dream, and I was like, no. Yeah,
Damn.
not fun.
Interesting.
So
I'm sorry that happened in your dream. It was a little scary.
thanks.
Anyway, but no, I totally get what you mean. It's like, even though it's like insane what's happening and obviously not based in reality, it feels based in like their reality. Like it's some kind of reality it feels based in. So I think that's pretty incredible that they pulled that off.
I'm still shocked that no one else has had those dreams.
Well, give it time. You know,
There's
You'll
gotta be
find
somebody
somebody.
out
There's
there
gotta be
for
somebody
sure.
out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
There's
so-
fish in the sea.
I thought that this was a normal
Exactly.
thing. Now I'm concerned.
Martha, any thought you have is not gonna be a normal thing. I thought you would have
That's fair,
accepted that by
yeah.
now.
Oh, I've had premonitions. I've been dreaming about fires for the past like 3 days, and then there was apparently a fire on campus, or like a fire drill or something, and I'm like, whoa. So
don't those
you
happen
know.
like every like week?
No, they never happen. Okay.
Anywho,
So, I'm
Martha,
just
it's
saying
a
my
little
dream-
scary. So we're
My
just,
dream
keep that to
state
yourself.
is something. Yeah, I didn't cause the fire. I promise. Legally,
Martha's back there just like
yeah.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
starting a fire, just rubbing sticks.
That's what she does to this podcast. But anywho, where are we at? So now the music is kicked in. So basically, I guess the music is established to like when the music starts playing, it's kind of like, okay, time's running up. Let's get this
Yeah.
shit done.
Let's get the kick to
Yes,
wake everyone up.
Exactly. So they established at the first level, there's like 10 seconds left for the kick. The second level, they got 3 minutes, and then this last level, we got an hour. So we're like, okay, holy shit, like we need to get fucking Fisher down there. So now Cobb is like, okay, Ariane, like, is there another path? And she's like, yeah, but like I can't tell you that. And he's like, I know why you can't tell me, but you need to tell me right now. But she's like, but Mom, tell me. And she's like, okay, fine. It's like,
Tell
okay,
me.
like tell me, like fucking yeah, no.
Yeah.
And the more though that they just go along in the snow, like the more shit just does not seem to be going their way right now. They're running out of time. The subconscious is only getting stronger. Then you at the hotel, he's like, fuck, like I need to drop them, but there's no gravity here. How are we gonna do that?
Yeah.
But I think it all serves as a really good way to build the tension, because even me watching this, the amount of times that I've seen this, I was still kind of like, oh, is he gonna do it?
Are they gonna do it? Are they gonna do it?
Right. Exactly. And then also too, like I love how when he's like, Fisher, we gotta get you down there, like the army's gonna come after you. I'm like, bro, they're not though. Like I know why he tells him that, but I literally was thinking, I'm like, the funny thing is like they're literally gonna attack everyone except him because it's his fucking mind.
Right? Yeah.
So it's like
his subconscious.
Exactly. And
He
of
doesn't even
course,
know that.
no, I have no idea. And then of course, Maul has to show up and fucking ruin things by shooting Fisher. And for whatever, and then he's like, I couldn't pull the trigger. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. He ended up doing it after the fact, which, like, okay, well, at this point.
You're like, I love the energy, man, but we could have used that, you know,
like 10 seconds ago.
We didn't have to go into limbo for that. You know what I mean? But right when the hope is lost, because then at that point, they're like, well, shit, he's dead. We're done. We're done.
We're done.
We're fucked.
But Arne's like, no. We can go into limbo and find him. We're going to find Fisher and bring them all back, because guess what? In limbo, we got all the time in the world. We can take our time, take our sweet ass time, do all of that. So that's what they do. So as all the action is continuing on in the snow level, cops taking Ariana through the world that he and Maul built. And eventually they end up back at the house that they used to live in. And this is where all the truth comes out finally. Because this motherfucker's been hiding shit. So basically, more shit. They find Maul, and basically the whole little idea, the simple idea that you need to start an Inception was just, your world is not real. And then we find out this motherfucker planted this shit in her mind. It's not that she came up with this shit on her own. He did this shit.
He did
And that's how he knows Inception.
And that's how you know Inception is possible.
Yeah.
Right.
It's possible, yeah.
So that whole shit at the beginning, like, oh, it's a... You fucking knew, bitch.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. Like, shut up.
Maybe.
You fucking knew. But then as he explained it, it's like, okay, you obviously what he did was terrible, but you understand that obviously he thought that idea was only going to grow as so long as they were in limbo. Like, until they got out. He did not expect that when she woke up, that idea would continue to grow in her mind.
Yeah.
To the point where she was still questioning her reality, even though they were in their reality, finally.
Yeah. But it's like, if you've been in here for years.
50 years.
What do you expect to happen? And like the way that you did it was so gruesome that you had to lay on the train tracks.
Yeah.
Train tracks and just boom.
They had water. I'm like,
off with your head.
Drowned or...
Yeah, there's a lot of things you could have done. A lot more peaceful, I think.
Yeah.
I feel.
A lot more romantic way to die, no?
Yeah, I mean, like in old Western films, there was the whole like lady on the train tracks, and they gotta save her, and you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But that's what happened. So it's pretty heartbreaking because it's like, okay, clearly like that's the whole idea why. So he was hiding that shit the whole time, but that's the full truth basically. So then the music goes off again. They're like, here's the kick, because basically what happened, I guess the first time they missed the kick, so this is like their next opportunity. Arthur got them all hooked up, tied together. They're going in the elevator, and then they successfully get Fisher out of the limbo. And he's like, okay, go. You need to go in there now.
Yeah.
Finds his dad. And it's another scene that's like kind of heartbreaking, because he's like, Dad, I know you're disappointed because I couldn't be you. And he's like, nah, son.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed because you tried.
Yeah. And even though those aren't the real words, and in reality, his father was just disappointed with him because he failed. But he doesn't need to know that.
No. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
We don't care about that. Just
that.
about the idea that was planted in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's all that matters. So then he opens the safe. He finds that fan. So they keep showing this picture of him as a kid with the fan next to his dad.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, your dad literally was care for you because he had an extra dad. He's like, no, actually, I put that there, and he hasn't noticed. But basically, in that picture is the fan. So he sees that the fan is in there. He sees his dad is dead, and then Eames like smiles. He's like, we did it. Fucking job is done. And then finally
Freeze
there's
frame.
a kick. Everything's blowing up. Yeah, freeze frame. They're like, we did it. everything's blowing up. The dream within the dream within the dream, back to the dream. And it's done. We all did it.
Or is it?
Oh, but we go back to limbo. And dude, this part, it didn't hit me emotionally as much until I saw it this time. But when he's talking to Maul, like, and he's like holding her, and she's like, "Do you remember when you asked me to marry you and you said we grow old together?" And he's like, "Well, we did. Like, you don't remember? Like, but we had our time together. Like, I have to let you go now." And she's like crying, and I'm like, "Fuck."
Yeah, it's sad.
A little too heartbreaking
So
for me
sad.
right now.
It's sad.
Because but it's like also good because like finally he's reached the point where he's like moved on. Like, he can finally put that in the past and just do that. So that was good.
Yes. He got that closure that they, were talking so much about.
They were literally trying to get him to go over her for 2 fucking hours, But
Yeah.
And that's the time that like Cobb tells Mal like the truth that he had performed Inception on her.
yeah.
And like even she like gets upset at that, and like she's like, wow.
Yeah, like
She
she
also
didn't
has,
even,
like, quick turnaround too. She's like, "You did that to me? How dare you? So you should stay
Yeah.
with me now."
be like, you know what, that's
Exactly.
even more reason
Yeah.
why your ass should stay with me, fool.
Yeah, I
You
guess.
lied
Yeah.
to me.
She's like,
You know
"How
what?
dare you? Now you have to do what I say,
Now you
even
have to
though
do what
I'm
I
pulling the
say."
strings the whole time."
Exactly, even though I'm not real.
Yeah.
But yeah. Basically though, they're not all out. They wake up oh, actually no, they don't wake up on the plane. My bad. That's a little hit. But they're all out. Fisher at this point, he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna go on my own path." So like obviously the idea has been planted and it's all good. And now we see Cobb washed up on the beach, circling back to the opening scene of the movie. And he's like,
Full
"I need to
circle.
find Sato." That's what he stays in limbo for. And he gets them both out. He's like, "Bro, let's just be young men again together, bro." Like,
Just be young man.
he did it, and they did it, and then suddenly, boom, eyes awaken. They're all on the plane, and I fucking love the ending, dude, because
The ending with the score.
with the fucking
the score of
Literally-
this movie is so good.
one of my favorite pieces, honestly, of music, fucking ever.
It's Time.
The song's called Time. Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
Time.
And it's perfect for this scene. Because first you have the shots of everybody waking up on the plane, and they all have these like smiles on their face. They're like, "We fucking did it."
Yeah.
And then you see Sato make the phone call, like he's gonna be able to come home. And then he makes it through customs. He's back in the country, and then Michael Caine picks him up. He comes to the house. He sees his kids, and then they run to him. They're like, "Daddy!" All excited.
So sweet. Happy,
sweet.
happy ending.
Happy ending, yes.
Or is it?
Oh, because then comes the
Dum, dum, dum.
final shot, which I really want to hear y'all's opinion on this final shot. Totem is spinning, and it's spinning, and at the very last frame, it looks like it might topple, but before it does, it cuts, and that's the end of the movie. And it leaves you to wonder: is he still dreaming, or is this the reality? So I have my own opinion on this, but I wanted to get y'all's opinion on the
Yeah.
ending.
I have an opinion on this
What's
as
that?
well,
Go ahead.
based on just one viewing.
Okay.
I think that he is still in a dream because technically he ended up in limbo too, trying to find Sato, right? Like
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah.
was established. So
But he woke up on the plane.
yes,
Him and
but-
Sato, he got them out. Well, they just had to kill themselves to get out of
yeah.
limbo.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what my point is that the ending, he is still in a dream. However, it is a dream that he will convince himself is his reality. Thus
with
coming
Maul,
back
kinda?
to the idea of like with Maul and how that happened. Because in the end, this is like his happy ending. Is having his kids there, and
Yeah.
so even though it's not real, it's good enough for him.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Hector?
I think I'll start off by saying like I think a big part of this movie is like a big theme, I guess, is like that reality can be whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
And so at the end of the movie, I don't think it matters, like Martha said, but I think it is reality due to a number of reasons and theories that I've looked up. Which I
That I am
discuss that later.
entirely
Discuss
ripping
later.
off.
Right. Based on this theory I stole from the internet.
Yeah, no, but it's also my theory. I'm kidding. No, but yeah, like it has to be real. Like in my eyes, like even like before it cuts to the credits, you can like hear the like totem like almost falling or like slowing down. So it's got to be real.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Point.
I feel like for a while I was thinking, oh, real. I was kind of going back and forth between that, and honestly, I just landed on the point that it doesn't fucking matter. I really don't know, and I'm not even gonna try to figure it out because, I mean, even Nolan himself has said this because people have asked him, and he's like it doesn't matter, bro. like
Movie's over. Move on.
Movie's
to real
over.
life.
Like go home. Like come on. Because I feel like regardless of whether it is a dream or not, like you said, this is now his reality. Like at the end of the day, he's back with his children, no matter what, and like, I mean, that's all that's gonna matter to him. So.
Yeah.
Whether that's real, whether it's a dream or reality, that is what feels real to him, and that is what he was looking for. It doesn't matter. So I feel like that's what makes it, honestly, as beautiful as it is of an ending, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, yeah. One more thing I was gonna ask y'all. Something I noticed too is that every time we see the kids in the movie, it's always the same shot.
It's just from the back.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't see their faces
Yeah.
until the end.
But then you really, but then it's the same thing at the end of the movie. So I'm just thinking, I'm like,
No.
no, it's the same outfits and
Ye-
everything.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I guess I was just
So-
wondering, like,
How does that all tie in?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think maybe, if anything, that adds to the point that it is not reality. This is him
they
coming back to that moment that he tried so desperately to get back to so many times and failed because it wouldn't end the way he wanted it to.
yeah.
right.
And so this is him coming back to that moment and finally being able to change it the way he wants it to end. But, you know, it's not real. It's still a
Right.
dream, you know.
Makes sense.
Just a thought.
Okay, I'll take that. So yeah, but that is the end of the movie. What are y'all's kind of overall like final like what are y'all's overall thoughts on the movie? Going through it all.
Okay. So since we are like talking about the ending, I guess I'll say like one of the things that like it's a small detail.
Okay.
Super small detail, but whenever Cobbs goes on a dream, right? When he goes on his subconscious or whatever, or someone else's, he has a ring on.
Yes.
But when he's in the like real world, he doesn't have a ring on. And like that's one of the things that at the end of the movie he doesn't have a ring on. So it's like
I think yeah.
is
yeah.
like is that his totem or like is that not his totem? So that's why like earlier on when Martha said like her totem would be like with the ring, I was like, oh.
Is that why you said
like,
that's interesting that you said that?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
interesting because like that's supposedly the theory that it's like he's in reality because he's not wearing the ring.
Because
Oh,
the
yeah.
Or
spinning
whatever.
top is Maul's totem.
It's hers, yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Exactly.
They don't really make it clear about that because she puts it away because she doesn't want to.
And he kind of just took it for himself when she died. She's like, it's mine,
Exactly.
bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like it doesn't really work like that because only she can know, like we said, like what how that feels and everything. So it's like,
yeah.
was that never really
Oh.
his totem?
So then, is I don't know.
That's Inception right there. I don't know.
Inception, yeah. The new founded term because the original term I guess wasn't good enough for this movie. But
Not quite, no. I was gonna say though, Mark, that real quick question for you too. So since we also talked about Interstellar, another Nolan movie, which movie did you find more confusing? Because I thought it was Interstellar by far.
Yeah, by
Yeah.
far. Like I said, this one I thought it was going to be a lot more confusing than it was, but I was able to follow the plot. I think honestly the only thing that I got like slightly confused about was the whole reason that they were doing it in the first place. But that's just because I like stopped paying attention for like 5
See,
seconds.
that's
and
the
then I
thing
just
about this
rewinded.
movie. I think as long as you are completely invested in it from start to finish, you won't
Yeah.
miss anything. But if you,
won't-
do,
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
but if you miss like one scene, you're probably gonna be like,
you
wait, what?
miss a big chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, the part where they kissed. I don't remember that. I completely missed it.
Yes.
I was either like writing a note or something
Yeah.
while that happened because it's very fast paced. It doesn't drag, so that's what I do
For
like
sure.
about
For a
this
2.5
movie.
hour movie too, it's pretty
Yeah.
damn impressive.
Yeah,
And like Interstellar is like you can like be like paying so much attention and like
still be confused.
it's still like everything's going good, right? Until the third act, that's where it all just like
it's like
you get confused.
It's a lot
even
of
if you're paying
confusion towards the
like,
end, for
especially
sure.
with like the like other dimension and stuff. Like what?
yeah. And then Matt Damon's there for some reason.
Yeah,
It's
Matt
just
Damon
like
out
how
of
the
nowhere.
fuck? Yeah, all that stuff. I know, I get you. I mean, I will say neither of them were as confusing as Tenet was. I know, Martha, you're
still
never
haven't
watching that movie.
I will never watch it because
I
Robert
have to see
Pattinson's
it.
in it.
That would be Hector. You should definitely check it out. I would love to know what you think, cause yeah, that's the fucking confusing one. I still don't get that one, but anywho, but yeah, did y'all have any final thoughts before we give our scores? Like, what you think, especially Martha, your first time, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, I really did enjoy this movie. I do plan on watching this again because I do want to be able to like pick up on the smaller details that I might have missed, because it's hard watching a movie and taking notes at the same time, especially if it's your first viewing.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
I do look forward to watching it again. I don't know. I think in terms of like the plot, it's interesting. It is, you know, a good pace for it. The characters are fun. Each of them are very distinct. Tom Hardy, he's doing a magnificent job in this character. My favorite character.
Dude, even fucking DiCaprio. It's like.
Yeah,
great. I mean, as always,
everyone
this
does
is like,
really good
yeah.
in this. Yeah, I really overall I just really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a good movie. Good movie. Good job,
Okay.
Hector. Thank you for choosing this one.
Yes.
Thank you for having me, and like what a movie to like pick for, like, because I sent you guys a list, you guys picked it, and like wow, this is like one of my, I think it's in my top 3 movies
Really?
to have ever seen, and like the fact that we're talking about it, so awesome.
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean, for me, this is definitely, I don't know where I put it. When we did our list, Martha, was it like
Yeah,
you like worked through? Do you remember? Because you went through them recently
yeah, I was
for what
just
you were
working through
doing.
them. I want to say yours was pretty high, and
know
it
it
was
was top
also
5.
on your soundtrack. I think it was number 1 on your soundtrack list.
Oh yeah,
So
Hell
which
yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
for sure. No, I fucking. I mean, yeah, I've always loved this movie. I think it's a masterpiece. I don't throw that word
Definitely
out
is.
much, but
Definitely is.
yeah, I love this. Even like technically, I think there's like so much done here that Nolan does that it's like adds so much to the story he's telling and the world he's building. That's pretty insane. But even like just with the story and with Cobb's story with his wife and everything, like it is very like heartfelt, I think, and a very personal touch to it that I really liked as well. That made this huge, large story feel a lot more intimate, I guess, and personal. So I think, yeah, I fucking loved it. But yeah.
Like I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Like this movie feels like so many different genres like put into one.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah.
action film. It's a heist film. Like there's a little bit of romance in there, like drama between Mao and like Cobb, and it's like it's got everything, and it feels so like well executed.
Yes.
sure.
The world has like
well executed.
That's
the world
word.
has
Word of the
certain
day.
rules that it goes by, and it pretty much executes everything super well.
Yeah, I think in terms of like exposition, and then also like world building, all of that part, and then damn it, I was gonna say something really smart, but I forgot.
Oh, that was my first. Damn, I was looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
It's lost. It's gone now. But
All
it's
right.
something about like they did something really well. They expressed something really well, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay, maybe I'll come back to you.
Maybe not.
All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, do you want to get into our final scores for the movie? Hector, since you're our guest, did you want to give your rating first? Just
Sure.
out of 10, what would you rate this movie?
Out of 10, I mean, this has to be a 10. Like, no
10?
doubt about it.
Gotta be,
No doubt
Hector,
about
man, I'm with you, bro. That's a 10
Hell
out of
yeah.
10 for me, bro. 100%.
Okay.
Martha, you're gonna ruin it for us. Just go ahead.
Okay, no, okay. So here's the thing. Again, I need
Here's the
to watch
thing.
it
There's
again.
there we go. Good.
It's not that I think that it could be a 10, and I do foresee myself moving it and bumping it up to a 10 in the future. I just need to watch it again and be able to like sit down and focus only on the movie and not
Hector, all I hear is just excuses and blah 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 blah.
It's a very high
I'm just
9,
hearing
No,
like a
voice, actually.
9.9. Okay.
We're just no. Wait,
9.9.
Yes.
Really?
All right.
Where's the last 10%?
Because again,
No,
I feel like
I'm teasing. Yeah.
I need to watch it again, and
know, I
then it will be bumped up. Because I genuinely think that this was a masterpiece in every regard. I just didn't feel that like immediate like connection to it like I would other movies that I
Yeah.
enjoy. And again, it's because I couldn't give it my full attention. But if I do, I know that I will enjoy it even more. Okay, so
I get you. Okay, I think we can give her some.
give me some slack. Okay.
So,
Sorry.
so after the podcast, watch the movie again. Give like a 5-minute, like or 3-minute like review again, record it, and then we can edit that into the video. Not we. Caesar can.
Oh, like, Hector, you gonna do it? Like,
Hector's
welcome.
our new editor.
Editor. We've finally been looking for one.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Well, that was our discussion on Inception. That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Let's see what else we got here. Next week, Martha, we talked about this a little earlier today. So we are not talking about a specific movie next week, but we are still doing an episode. So on Sunday are this year's Academy Awards. So we thought next week we'll just bring y'all a recap of the awards ceremony. Let's talk about the winners and the whole ceremony, all
and
that kind of
losers.
stuff. And the losers, for real. Only thing that sucks is check my work schedule. I'm actually gonna miss the first hour of the Oscars. So I guess when I get home, I'll just catch up on what I missed, and then but I'm not gonna miss like Best Picture and all the good
I'll
stuff.
do what we usually do. I'll text you live updates.
Yes. I literally will check my phone and be like, what? Yeah.
What?
Right. No, yeah, it'll be fine. And then so we'll just do that recap. I may do a predictions video and upload it to our channel before the Oscars if I have time. Because
if I
feel
have
like
time, I'll break out my dartboard.
Dartboard for sure, and we can do that.
Hector, if you don't know, I have a movie podcast, but I'm terrible about actually watching movies, especially the ones that are like new. So I'm terrible when it comes to Oscar season. Last year we did a review, or not a review, but a predictions episode. Did not watch any of the movies, so I used a dartboard, and whoever it landed by, that's who I guessed. Did not get any of them right. But
I actually want to check Martha to see something real quick. I believe you've only seen one Best Picture nominee.
I will watch more.
Out of 10.
I'll watch more.
And then I actually only have one left, so I'm gonna try to get through Drive My Car by the end of the weekend.
I have 3 days. I have 3 days. I can watch
9 of them.
I'll watch half of one.
Perfect. Oh well, West Side Story is still streaming now.
That is my promise.
There you go.
Half of an Oscar
That's
nominated movie.
my half promise.
Yes, yeah.
All right. Anywho,
All right. Well,
to end it off, thank you all so much
first.
for watching and for listening.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, Hector, for being here. It was so great to have you. You're
Thank
welcome
you.
on anytime. You want to come on for sure. We would love to have you again.
If you want to come replace Caesar, please
do it, please. I'm looking for an escape. That's really all this was an audition. It was like the audition that Corn on the Cob gave to her. That's the same thing we just did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So welcome, Corn on the Cob.
Welcome.
Welcome.
You
All
made
right.
But anywho, again, if you have not subscribed to our audio platforms, so if you Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff, you can find us on there. Leave a review, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. You can find us at Inner Wider Screen Podcast. Jesus. And finally, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Inner Wider Screen on our social medias. You can follow us on there for updates on all that we're doing.
Boop, boop, boop.
Like again, we said, Hector, thank you so much again for joining us. Martha, I guess thanks for being here. Anything you all wanted to say before we head out?
Real reality. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely not.
There's that one
Until
guy,
next
Casey, the guy without the shirt, and he's like, real reality. It's a video. I think it was from Vine. Anyway.
Okay.
Bye.
Well.